This video introduces Statistics Canada's CANSIM database. For more information about CANSIM, see the companion guide to this video on the Red River College Library website. The link is below this screen. CANSIM stands for Canadian Socioeconomic Information Management System. It contains statistical data on a wide range of sectors, such as business, consumer spending, health, education, and justice. The easiest way to get into CANSIM is to search for it on Google, Bing, Safari, or some other search engine. The CANSIM site will be at the top of your search results.
CANSIM is only one of many Statistics Canada data products, most of which are available free of charge on their website. The Browse by Subject tab gives us access not only to CANSIM tables, but to many other online items. This is handy if we are looking for data that CANSIM, by itself, does not provide. The Browse by Subject tab also provides a search engine. Like the browsing list of subjects, the search engine covers not just CANSIM, but all Statistics Canada data products. But let's get back to CANSIM itself.
In order to see what CANSIM has to offer, we need to scroll down the page a little. CANSIM has its own browsable list of subjects, but the subject links retrieve CANSIM tables only. The links retrieve no other data products. The Survey tab takes us to a list of CANSIM data sources. Some of the data in CANSIM comes from various government agencies that have data collection programs related to their areas of jurisdiction. Other data are generated from targeted surveys that Statistics Canada carries out. The list includes more than 400 surveys and data gathering programs. When we click on a link in the list, we are shown titles and links for all the CANSIM tables that were generated by that survey or data source.
The subject list and survey list are useful, but a keyword search is usually the fastest way to locate the CANSIM data that we want. We have three options for entering our search terms. The exact phrase option requires that each CANSIM table that our search retrieves must contain our search terms in exactly the way they were entered. This search option will retrieve the fewest results. The all of these words option requires that each CANSIM table that our search retrieves must contain every one of our search terms, though not necessarily as a phrase and not necessarily in the same order as we entered them. The any of these words option requires at least one of our search terms to appear in each CANSIM table that is retrieved by our search. This search option will retrieve the largest number of results.
CANSIM also offers an advanced search option. This option allows us to exclude terminated data tables from our search results, allows us to choose from available data collection frequencies such as annual, monthly, or weekly, and allows us to focus our searches in various ways. Advanced search can be handy to use, but there is a danger in focusing our search too precisely, especially at the outset. In doing so, we may inadvertently exclude useful items from our search results. In general, it is best not to use advanced search options until the basic options fail to give us what we want. The Combine Series link is another advanced feature. It allows us to modify our search by adding additional topics. In this video, however, we will leave aside these advanced features and stick to the basics.
We can carry out a basic search by typing any terms we want. For example, let's look for data on bicycles. After we type our search term or terms, we click on the search button. In this case, our search retrieves 24 CANSIM tables. The search results include tables of data on retail sales and household spending. We can use the Search Within Results button to refine our search, but since there are only 24 tables in total, it is better to browse through them one by one. Refining our search too narrowly at this stage may exclude tables that contain useful information.
One feature of CANSIM that some users find irritating is the inclusion of terminated tables. As time and technology move on, industries become obsolete, spending patterns shift, and other factors force changes in socioeconomic data collection. Surveys that no longer reflect current conditions have to be revised. The CANSIM Advanced Search allows us to exclude terminated tables, but these tables are worth examining nonetheless. For example, they can provide historic trend data that may help us make a case for trend projections into the future.
We will now take a closer look at one of the tables that our search retrieved, and see what information it contains about bicycles. This is one of several tables generated by the Survey of Household Spending. Each table listing in the search results display includes a link to descriptive information, and a link to the table itself. The descriptive information includes keywords that enable the search engine to retrieve the table, and a list of the table's dimensions. In a table made up of rows and columns, the dimensions can be thought of as the columns.
CANSIM is a database of time series. A time series is a statistic that is recorded regularly, for example annually, monthly, or weekly, in order to show how the statistic changes over time. This table shows 4 separate time series that record wombat sightings in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the Prairies, and Canada, over 3 years. The table that we are going to examine contains a total of 4,108 time series, comprising 316 different household expenditures, multiplied by 13 separate geographical areas. The description includes a link to the data table. This link is also on the search results display, and since we were already looking at the search results, let's go back there now.
We go to the data table itself, by clicking on the table number. The link takes us to the top page of the table, which provides identifying information. It shows the table number and title, links to explanatory footnotes, the frequency of data collection, annual, and the measure that the numbers represent, namely dollars. This top page of the data table also presents a summary, or overview, of the data. The detailed information is hidden underneath this page. For example, although the table contains data for regions and provinces, the top page only shows data for Canada. Likewise, the household expenditure data displayed on this top page represent only summary totals for expenditure groupings. The page displays only 38 out of a total of 316 expenditures. Which brings up the question, where are the bicycles?
The key to finding detailed information in a CANSIM table is the Add Remove Data tab, or the Add Remove Data link. When we click on the Add Remove Data tab, or the Add Remove Data link, we are shown a series of steps, which vary from survey to survey. The steps relate to the dimensions of the data table, which we can think of as table columns. The first step or dimension is geography. It allows us to pick the geographical areas for which we want to see data. In this case we can choose from Canada, the 10 provinces, and 2 regions, Atlantic Canada and the Prairies. If we want to see information for the territories, we have to go to a different household spending table. The Add Remove Data display gives us only a small window through which to look at data options. We can scroll up and down, but it's more convenient to enlarge the window by clicking on Expand. The enlarged window shows us all of our choices. Here we have chosen Manitoba, along with the Prairies and Canada, for comparison. Once we have made our selection, we can reduce the window by clicking on Collapse.
Step 2 requires us to select the statistic, in other words the measure, that we are interested in. Here we have only one choice, average expenditure per household, but the number of choices can vary depending on the survey, and on the tables generated from it.
Step 3 brings us to the list of available household expenditures. This is where we can expect to find data about bicycles. Once again, we are given a small window in which to view our possible choices. We can enlarge this window by clicking on the Expand link. We don't have to enlarge the window if we don't want to, but enlarging makes it easier to see all the available options.
Before we start looking for bicycles, however, there is something we need to do. CANSIM pre-selects data from each step or dimension, in order to show the summary or overview data that we saw on the top page of our data table. We don't want these pre-selections cluttering up our bicycle data, so they need to be eliminated. The first step is to click on the All checkbox. When we click on the All checkbox, All the checkboxes in the expanded window become filled with checkmarks. The second step is to click on the All checkbox one more time. The checkmarks in all the boxes will now disappear.
We can now look for our bicycle data, using Ctrl F, to pinpoint the term bicycle, rather than scrolling through 316 household expenditures. Ctrl F is available in all web browsers, for example Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Google Chrome, but the search box may appear at the top or bottom of the screen, depending on the browser. As soon as we start typing bicycles in the search box, CANSIM jumps to the first line containing the word. We hit the search box's down arrow to jump to the next occurrence, if any. We choose the bicycle's expenditure by clicking on its checkbox. We can now scroll back to the top of the expanded display, and click on Collapse to reduce it again.
Step 4 lets us choose the time period we want to cover. In this table there are only 5 years available and they have already been selected by default. Since we want to see if expenditures on bicycles are rising or falling, we will leave the selections as they are. As a matter of fact, data for household expenditures goes back as far as 1997, and can be found in some of the terminated data tables that are listed in our search results. This is a case where terminated tables can provide us with useful trend data.
Step 5 lets us create a table from our chosen parameters. We can have our years, 2010 to 2014, displayed as either columns or as rows, or we can let CANSIM choose a layout. We can experiment with these options and see which one we like best. If we want to cancel our choices, and start all over again, we can click on the Back to Original Table button. If we want to go ahead and create our table, we click on the Apply button. And here's what our table looks like.
The Manipulate tab provides calculations based on the data retrieved, for example, percentage changes and year-to-date averages. We can experiment with the options, and see if any of them provide information that we can use. The Download tab gives us the option of downloading our table, in comma-delimited format, for uploading into a database or spreadsheet. In fact though, we can simply copy and paste the cells from our table, directly into a spreadsheet. The Related Information tab shows us links to related data tables and publications, and to information about the survey of household spending. This completes the process of finding detailed data in a CANSIM table. Now all we have to do is follow the same process in other CANSIM tables, including terminated tables if appropriate.
We are now at the end of our basic introduction to CANSIM. For more information about CANSIM, see the companion guide to CANSIM on the Red River College Library's website.